Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that everything you see, hear, and learn has already been chosen for you. The news, the movies, the books, the lessons taught in school, even the opinions you're allowed to express. It sounds like something from a dystopian novel. But for millions of people living in Germany during the 1930s and 1940s, this was reality. When people think about Adolf Hitler, they usually picture massive rallies, military parades, and World War II. But those events only tell part of the story. What was everyday life actually like for ordinary people? What was it like to be a student, a parent, a shopkeeper, a worker? And how did one government gain so much control over an entire society? To answer those questions, we have to go back to Germany after World War I. The country was in crisis. Millions of people felt humiliated by defeat in the war. The economy struggled. Inflation became so severe that ordinary money lost much of its value. Some people carried entire stacks of cash just to buy basic necessities. Unemployment rose. Many Germans felt angry, frustrated, and desperate for change. In times of uncertainty, people often look for strong leaders who promise simple solutions. And that is exactly where Adolf Hitler entered the picture. Hitler promised national pride, economic recovery, strength, stability, a better future. Many Germans believed him, and as support for the Nazi Party grew, Germany began to change. At first, some changes seemed ordinary. Roads were built, public events became larger, national celebrations became more common. The government promoted the idea that Germany was becoming stronger and more united. But beneath the surface, something else was happening. Political opponents were being silenced. Independent newspapers faced increasing pressure. Critics disappeared from public life. Slowly, the government gained more control over what people could say, read, and believe. And that control extended into nearly every part of daily life. For children, school became more than a place to learn. It became a place where the government could shape how young people viewed the world. Textbooks were rewritten, lessons were redesigned. Teachers were expected to support Nazi ideology. Students were taught to admire the government and obey authority. Outside school, many children joined organizations such as the Hitler Youth. These groups offered camping trips, sports, and social activities. To many young people, it seemed exciting, but the real purpose went much deeper. The organizations helped shape loyalty to the Nazi state. Children spent hours learning lessons about nationalism, obedience, and military discipline. For many families, participation became increasingly expected. As the years passed, it became harder and harder to remain outside the system. Meanwhile, adults experienced changes of their own. The government understood that controlling information was one of the most powerful tools imaginable. Radio broadcasts carried carefully crafted messages. Newspapers promoted government-approved stories. Films often contained propaganda designed to influence public opinion. Today, most people can access information from thousands of different sources. In Nazi Germany, the government worked hard to ensure that citizens heard only one version of events. This created an environment where many people saw the world exactly as the regime wanted them to see it. And for those who questioned the official narrative, life could become dangerous. The result was a society where fear and conformity often went hand in hand. Yet, daily life continued. People went to work, children attended school, families ate dinner together, friends met and talked. To many ordinary Germans, life could appear surprisingly normal. But that sense of normality came at a cost. Because while some citizens benefited from economic improvements and national pride, others faced increasing discrimination, exclusion, and persecution. Entire groups of people gradually lost rights that many had once taken for granted. And these changes did not happen all at once. They happened step by step, law by law, year by year. This is one of the most important lessons of Nazi Germany. History's biggest changes often begin with small changes that seem easy to ignore. And by the time many people realize what is happening, the system has already become deeply entrenched. As the decade progressed, the consequences of these policies would become increasingly devastating. Germany was moving toward war, and the world was about to change forever.